Yo, what's up, everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Yes, it is now 4:37. I talk like that because we have a Navy SEAL brother, Jon. What's up? Yes, sir.
Good, John?
Yes, sir, Jon.
John.
Oh, wait. Isn't that disrespectful? Like, Navy SEAL world?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Yo, you got a nice little tat.
Yeah.
Yo,
Do you want to share that or you
talk
don't?
about it?
Yeah.
Oh, so awkward. Oh.
Joe's sister,
Yeah.
Joanne, who I'm engaged to, she scribbled it on my hand and I got it tattooed before we even started dating.
Whoa.
That is nuts.
Wait. Before you guys.
Even started dating. Yeah.
Oh.
So how does that work?
No, I just knew like I wanted to marry her, so I was like whatever.
Damn.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
You just knew?
Yeah, I just knew. Like,
I asked him. I was like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "I just knew."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, man."
Holy shit. So did she know about that? Like.
Yeah. No. I told her like I'm gonna get it tattooed, and she was like, "Oh, you're crazy." It's like I know. Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
We went together actually. So.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, we went together. So it wasn't like, oh, like don't get that. Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah,
It was very
yeah.
like, you know, we did it together.
You guys knew.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
were doing it.
yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
So
How'd you
she-
meet her?
so I met her. Well, we went to high school together,
Mhm.
and
Back in Jersey?
Yeah. So we reconnected through Facebook, and I talked to her before I went into my third SEAL training. So I couldn't. We don't have phones during training, obviously. So like, I couldn't keep in contact with her, and I don't want to like reach out to her and then like go into training and then like be contacting her intermittently. So like, I figured I'll just let her be and then go into training and then maybe later on I'll kind of reach out to her again.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we go to the same church right now, so
So
I met her
you're a
there.
strong Christian? Also.
Very strong Christian.
Don't be embarrassed. Embrace it.
I watched the podcast. So I know where this is heading. So,
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
yeah, but yeah. So like we met up and we kind of hit it off like right from the get go. Like the first time I reconnected with her, and we weren't close in high school. So the first time we reconnected, we talked for like 5 hours,
Wow.
just like nonstop.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like one person talking either. Like we were just, exchanging different conversations. And,
Yeah.
we just kind of hit it off. So
Wow.
and I felt a strong attraction right from the get go. So I wanted, like I knew like I wanted to marry her.
Wow.
So she wasn't getting that vibe, but she, if anything, like she'll show me the door, like I feel like I'm not ready for a relationship. But
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready, so
So you're ready.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
but yeah, it worked out. So
Yeah.
I don't approve of like I was like really like strict when it came to like guys my
yeah, I
sister
heard
dating
yeah.
and stuff
I
growing
heard,
up.
yeah.
And everyone like growing up, even in college, people were like, "Yo, don't date Joe's sister, man. That's like Joe's sister." Because like one time I stopped on the college campus. There was like this black guy that was stalking my sister.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was like this tall, black, lanky dude. And my sister was like kind of scared, right? We went to the same college. So,
Right.
So actually, like we saw this guy randomly, like in a corner, and that day, like it was very random. My sister's like, me and my sister were talking, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Wait, oh, but that's the guy! Oh my god!"
Oh my goodness.
She's like, "Oppa,
Really?
Oh,
that's
shit.
the guy!" I was like, "Where?"
She's going down.
And then like this guy was like, "Yeah, I saw this dude with a white cap."
Yeah.
But he looked just like a normal, very tall, lanky black guy, like kind of like just like looking at this direction, right? So I was with my friend at that time, so I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna talk to this guy." I went up to that. I went up to him right away, and like I was like, "Hey man, you fucking look at my sister again, I'll fucking kill you."
Oh,
Like, back then,
shit.
like I was like going to church. I was like really holy and stuff. And then my friend was with me.
That's
So
when
he was
the
like,
darkness came out.
"Oh, like Joe." Yeah, this black guy was like, There was I think he had a mental problem.
Oh, really?
As soon as I approached him,
Yeah.
he was already like, "Oh my god." And then I was like, "Hey, fucking look at my sister. Don't ever do any, like, don't even come near her. I will kill you." Right?
Oh my
And this
God.
guy was like, "All right, sir. All right." And like he just
What?
kind of like
He
ran
did
away.
not call you sir.
No, I don't know about sir, but like he was like, "All right, man. All right, dude. Like, come on." So I was like, "Ooh," but normally people don't act like that, you know?
So you just like freaked out.
Yeah, like it was kind of weird. So I knew that there was something wrong. Most people were like, "Yo, dude, what are you talking about?" I'm
Right,
like,
right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, take it easy, man. You want to go, like, you
Yeah,
know? But
right.
this guy was like, "Oh." As I was approaching, he kind of knew,
Right.
and so he kind of backed away. And then, like from then on, everyone was like, "Yo, Joe's like super strict. He's like so protective."
Are you though?
But I used to be, man.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the man right here
So he made it through, man.
is my brother.
Awesome.
My
Cool.
brother.
Even
Another brother.
even his parents. Yeah.
Mm.
It's just
Oh
kinda-
yeah.
That's
Joe's
why I
parents are
asked.
strict.
Yeah.
That was really daunting. But you know,
Daunting.
Yeah.
You made it through, man.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how.
Passed the
but
test.
You passed the test.
So like what Joanne tells me, like they kind of liked me before I even met them. So,
Yeah, they did.
Oh, wow.
They did. They're like, "Oh, he's a really polite, really nice man." Yeah. And then you wrote my mom and dad a card that day you came over.
Oh yeah.
the
yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
no guy does that, you know. So they were like super touched.
Like all
by
in
that.
Korean.
Yeah.
Wow.
His Korean is better than mine.
Oh.
He's like native Korean.
Damn. What?
Yeah.
But you're native.
No. But he's like a native Korean.
Why is that? How come
Military.
he- Oh.
So,
and
like,
you
yeah.
grew up in Korea, right?
Well, yeah. I was born in Korea. I moved to the States when I was 8, and then I came back when I was 20. So
Oh.
around
Okay.
11 years
I see.
living in the States.
Yeah.
For all the good years. So
Yeah.
so my Korean kind of sucked. So I was kind of in the same boat as you guys. But then when I went into the military, there was no chance for me to speak English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was only Korean.
Wow.
And I don't want to be one of those Korean Americans that would kind of fall back to like me just being Korean American and say like I can't do certain things because I can't speak Korean.
Mhm.
So I wanted to follow their rules and do as the Romans do.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
That's not me.
yeah.
I can't do shit.
I just didn't want to be outcasted in such a small group.
Mhm.
Being that we're such a small like elite force.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be one of the guys, so I couldn't act like I was better than them
Mhm.
because I spoke English or
Mhm.
yeah. So like I just kind of followed all their rules and didn't talk in English and
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep talking.
so
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. So that just kind of forced me to speak in Korean all the time, and my English actually started deteriorating. So dating,
Really?
yeah, dating
Really?
your sister helped me out.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, talking in English. So I would start like breaking in sweat because if I talk in English for too long.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know how like
Yeah, I know what you mean though.
when you talk in
Yeah,
Korean like for a
right.
really long time,
Yeah.
it starts hurting your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. For
You're
for me.
using an extra part of your brain.
You
or
are.
something. Yeah, it just feels like you're overworking your
exerting
brain.
yourself, right?
Wow, you actually feel like that?
I felt like that when I started talking in English again.
Wow.
So that's like when I started reconnecting with Joanne.
Yeah. Right.
But then I kind of got over that now. So like right now, like it's totally comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with the whole like Navy SEAL, how did you decide to do that? Yeah, like I know, like
Right. I wanted to go into the military well before I even came to Korea.
right.
Just always kind of like every little boy kind of goes through that stage. You
Mhm.
watch like a war flick and you just kind of want to shoot guns and blow things up.
Yeah.
So that just kind of that was just pretty instilled in me.
Yeah.
That stayed there for a while, and then I remember a close friend of mine back in Jersey. He showed me a a Navy SEAL documentary. It's like a 8-part documentary, Discovery Channel, and it just showed you like the entire training process.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and what they go through, and that just kind of blew me away. Like these like buff, fit guys, like having such a hard time and being beat down to the ground, but they'll still like go after it each and every day.
Yeah.
Well, that just kind of boggled my mind, and like the more I learned about it, the more I was kind of taken by their ethos and their philosophy on life, and just like being such a go-getter in every aspect.
Yeah.
And being like a perfectionist and being well-rounded in different areas of your life. That just kind of struck a chord in me, and I felt like I could do anything if I graduated SEAL training.
Yeah.
So.
But it wasn't an easy trip for you, right? To getting into the program itself at the beginning.
There's a physical you have to take, and then there's a fitness test you have to take. The cut line's not that high, to be honest. It's not that high, but then that's like the bare minimum. So even for like the U.S. Navy SEALs, they have like a bare minimum that you have to do. So it's like 50 push-ups in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's like the bare minimum.
Yeah,
but on average, most guys, like the competitive numbers would be 120 push-ups in 2 minutes, and 120 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and 20 something pull-ups, and your run times need to be really fast, and so it's around those numbers.
And one of your trainings, did you have to go like in the pool, and then you had all your gear on, and do they like come and swoop in, and they like try to like tamper with your equipment, and you have to kind of compose yourself and kind of just deal with the situation, whatever is going on?
That's called harassment. That's
is that really what
that's literally what it's called. It's called harassment, and it's during dive phase. And
so you've been through that?
Yeah, it's just just awesome. As you say. So it's simulating like water currents, because like I even saw a GIF.
Yeah, GIF.
A couple months ago, this guy diving in the ocean, and he was just swooped by the current. Like no one was touching him, and like there was nothing around him, but then the current just kind of took him. Like when he was just like floating in the water.
It was like the shallow end of the water, where the waves are like.
It was pretty deep.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's different currents that.
Oh right,
that exist.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
It's like a lot.
Scary,
it's like there's like highways in the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if you have your mouthpiece on, and if your gear kind of gets messed up, you need to be able to handle yourself in the water. So that's pretty. Like you need to be comfortable in the water in order to complete your mission. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever like drown?
Of course, yeah.
From training?
That's pretty normal.
And that's
actually.
common, right?
Yeah. Deep blackout. It's called shallow water blackout. Yeah.
So they so I guess they have a very good eye on like just to control like the environment, like what's going on, right?
The instructors are watching.
They're liable, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's always like 5 to 6 instructors watching every move.
Oh,
yeah. So there's at least one instructor per 2-3 students or candidates. So yeah, they're watching your every move, and
so what does it mean to drown? Because like when I think of drowning, I think you just die from lack of oxygen in your lungs.
Right.
But like you can actually drown and be resuscitated.
Right.
That's feasible. That's easily like you can just easily just revive someone.
Right. So long as you're not. So long as you're not like you don't. It's all about like the level of oxygen in your brain. Like so long as you don't you revive someone within a certain period of time or certain time frame, and they don't lose that oxygen in the brain, like you won't receive brain damage. And yeah, so you just gotta be always on the lookout for people that black out and resuscitate them. It's not as common as you would think, but it happens every class. And
I guess that seems pretty common. Like
yeah,
every once in a while, it seems
Yeah.
pretty common.
yeah.
Oh, here another one. Get him out of the one.
But that's the thing, like these guys, because they don't want to fail, they'll exert themselves like past the limit that they think they're possible. So like we have like a 50-meter underwater swim. So you need to swim 50 meters underwater with a single breath.
15 meters?
50 meters.
That's
So-
crazy.
For real, like if I taught you how to do the breathing technique, you guys can do it.
Holy crap!
For sure.
50 meters,
Yeah,
man.
it's possible.
I don't know.
It's not that difficult.
I don't know. About that.
I thought it was impossible too until I actually did it. And I've done it several times after. It's just that one time that's really scary. But some of these guys, like, you know, they tense up and they're using a little more oxygen than they're supposed to, and
Yeah, I heard like anxiousness
Yeah.
also takes away the energy
Yeah.
from
so they're fighting their urge to come back out of the water to breathe oxygen, and they knowingly stay in the water. That's why they black out. You know, they don't just black out of nowhere. They feel the urge to breathe, but they choose not to go up. So, like in a sense, like you're kind of trying to commit suicide, but you're not. You know, because you know everyone's watching you. So you choose to stay underwater and you try to make it all the way, but some of these guys they just black out and they come up and they're resuscitated. So
You actually almost hyperventilated. What is it called?
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia,
Right?
yeah.
Hypothermia. You had that a couple times.
I felt
That's crazy, man.
symptoms of hypothermia the second time I went through Hell Week. The first time I went through Hell Week, it was full on hypothermia, and it's like you stop shivering. You know, you're extremely cold, and you feel like your body temperature is like dropping by the minute, and you're just in that state and you're just shivering like crazy. But then it comes to a certain point where you stop shivering and you're kind of numb to the cold, and your movement is limited and everything feels like a dream. You feel dazy, you kind of feel high, like and you know, like you start seeing things, and like the only reason I realized it wasn't a dream, it felt so much like a dream, but the only reason I knew was because there was so much detail. Because if you think back to your dreams, you don't really see like the little details of
it's all abstract.
yeah. But then like I was looking at trees and like I saw the little leaves and I saw the stems on the leaves, and I knew right then and there, like it's not a dream. So I knew like I was going through something. I just didn't know at the time it was hypothermia. And like you can't walk properly, you can't talk properly, and you're just like you don't know what's going on. And they took me back to the ambulance, and they covered me with blankets, and I knocked out for 3-4 hours. And you're not supposed to be out of training for 3-4 hours during Hell Week. So if you're out of training for 3-4 hours,
Are you eliminated?
yeah, you're cut from training. So that's why I got cut from training.
Wow.
It was my last day of Hell Week too. Last night of Hell Week. So the next day I would have been done with Hell Week.
Wow.
So that kind of sucked.
You actually did it 3 times, right? The program.
The training 3 times, but the first time I only went to the second week. The second time was fifth week is Hell Week, for Korean SEAL training, and Yeah, so it was the last day of Hell Week, so that's 5 weeks, and then
Yeah.
the third time it was 21 weeks, and then there's another training after that. So yeah.
So like you, so you have to be essentially you have to pass Hell Week to be certified like Navy SEAL.
No, 21 weeks.
So even after Hell Week, you have to survive for 20,
Right.
21 weeks to get certified.
Right. So
Damn.
like after Hell Week is you kind of you've proven yourself that you've got the mental capacity and the physical capacity to go through the rest of the training. So the rest of the training is more technical stuff. You start learning to dive, and you use weapons, and you learn how to navigate.
I guess the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. It's actually not that fun. It's really
So Hell Week is just like you're just seeing the limitations of your body.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Mental and physical.
Yeah. So it's fun. Hell Week is it's not, when you're going through it, it's not fun. But thinking back, it's fun.
What is Hell Week? What do you do?
So-
What did Korean SEALs do for Hell Week?
We modeled it off of U.S. Navy SEAL training, so it's pretty much the same. Where we start at what is it? So 12 a.m. on Sunday. So it's like a Monday. So
Pretty
Sunday
sounds
going
bad.
on Monday.
12 a.m. Sunday.
So that's when breakout starts.
Yeah.
They call it breakout, and then it ends on Friday night. So it used to go. It used to go on to Saturday, and you get 0 hours of sleep. So like the most you'll get is like maybe like 30 minutes in total, like split out throughout the week, and you're training 24/7.
My God. Can you actually die from no sleep? From
Yeah,
sleep
you can.
deprivation?
You can die from sleep deprivation.
Really?
to my understanding, right?
How?
Doesn't your brain just shut off?
Well, yeah, like your heart kind of gives out, and like I know people have died during training.
Oh my
Not
God.
recently though. I know someone recently died in U.S. Navy SEAL training during Hell Week,
So, is there like a waiver form or something? Like, who's
before
responsible?
training, yeah. Before
Right,
training,
right.
there's a waiver form. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So they know like what the hell
Right,
they're getting into.
right.
Wow.
But it's very safe. Like I said before, the instructors are watching every move, and
Right.
they're overseeing everything. So it's always safety first.
So they're like on shifts, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
During Hell Week, yeah, they're on
Yeah.
shifts. So they gotta sleep too. So
Yes. Are there some like particular like what do you call them? The instructors that you hate? Like you're just like, oh, not this freaking guy.
yeah, of course, yeah. There's some psychos, man. I can say it now because I'm out of the military. yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They won't
not
understand
this
me
fucking
anyways.
guy again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's some of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're crazy. They're crazy.
Jeez.
So we kind of crack jokes between the guys, like,
Yeah.
man, this guy, like, he must have a terrible marriage or something. Taking it out on us, you know. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it's these guys, it's just
And like from the book like Extreme Ownership, from what I read, I think from what I remember, they like carried like rafts over.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
In a group.
Yeah.
And like you just gotta do some kind
Rubber
of drill.
boats.
Yeah. Go back and forth in the water. Or something.
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
Yeah, everything's a race in Hell Week. So
Oh right, you're like competing as teams. Like
Right.
you have like a group of what, 6 or something? Or-
seven guys. And the senior guys are team leaders. So on my third training, I was a senior guy because it was my third year in the military, and so I was a boat crew leader. And oh man, in that kind of situation, it's really hard being a leader.
Wow.
Because
you're breaking down yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so you're trying to motivate guys like.
That's so
when-
hard. How can
Yeah.
you motivate people when
What
you're
do you
like
say?
dying?
It's like, oh, like I was talking in English, so like you know how like Koreans, you know, when they hear English, like they think it's like
Cool.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to fire them up in English, and they're like, yeah, you know, like,
Oh!
yeah,
I don't know what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it sounds cool.
At the gym, like
Yeah.
the PTs, they speak English a little
Really?
bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll count reps in English.
Oh yeah, that's
Pretty
true.
sure they do.
1, 2, right?
2, 3,
Pull.
Yeah. So yeah, we're carrying boats all the time, 24/7. We eat with the boats on our heads. We eat.
What?
Sucks, man.
We eat off our paddles. This is like very Korean. So we kind of teach it in a very Korean way.
Yeah.
So we eat off of our paddles. That's our plate, and we eat with our hands.
But what do you usually eat? Like
Just Korean food, rice, and there's some meat, and then in the morning there's milk and you know, it's
Corn.
Yeah,
Can't miss that corn.
and kimchi. You know.
Yeah.
So it's
Nice.
pretty standard. Good food actually,
oh,
considering, because you know you want to feed your special forces a little differently.
Yeah, of
than
course.
the regular guys. So yeah, we were always fed pretty well.
wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
What's the toughest thing in Hell Week? Like, what's the toughest activity that you're like, everyone's like, fuck, that sucks.
Oh man.
There's too many.
I mean, not sleeping sucks because you're
How do you not sleep though?
You're
like, so,
fed really well during Hell Week.
right,
So
but that makes you more sleepy.
All that
yeah,
rice.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
So-
makes you like
Right.
that blood flow. to
Right.
your-
So
Well, you guys are constantly moving, so I guess
Yeah.
probably you don't
Yeah.
really feel sleepy at all.
Yeah. There's moments where, like, so the whole reason we eat with the boats on our heads is because they don't want you to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But you can't really stop people from falling asleep because you know you're not sleeping for 5 days, so you're literally sleeping while you're walking or while you're pedaling and
Right, you're like drifting.
yeah,
off.
you black out. So like in Korean you say 필름 끊겨 or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
순간이동, so which is
Yeah.
teleportation.
Yeah.
So you're literally teleporting from point A to point B. So I had moments where like we're climbing up mountain with the boats on our heads, and like I blink once and I'm at the top, and I blink once again and I'm at the bottom.
You're just on autopilot. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
What if you like fall down?
that's why
Get back
you
up.
don't surprisingly.
That's why you don't, buddy.
You don't
Yeah.
fall like I haven't seen like I've seen a couple of guys fall
Fall down the mountain.
not down the mountain but fall just like fall.
Oh, like okay.
But to prevent that, there's a special way. Well, not special, but like there's a way of holding onto the boat.
Okay.
They have like little rings, so you put your wrist
Oh.
through and then like twirl it once and then
Yeah, so
and
it's
then
kind of
hold onto
hard to just.
Yeah. So you're kind of like if you kind of fall asleep, you kind of tug your
It'll-
arm so
it'll
you
catch you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Very
So
nice.
you kind of get jumped. You're it kind of wakes you up.
yeah.
You feel that jolt in your arm.
Was there one particular member where, like, who pissed you off? Like,
Oh,
Other
everyone.
team.
Everyone
Oh,
pissed
everyone?
me off. Yeah. I'm sure I pissed other guys off too.
Oh.
So
what
like
do you mean? Uh-huh.
you know, like being Korean culture, like there's always like 선배 후배 kind of
Yeah,
stuff. So like I told you, I was one of the senior guys, and
does age matter in this? No.
no,
right?
age doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
When you
it's just
came in,
your
right?
rank.
The rank.
Yeah. But I was older than most of the guys too.
So
So
you had more power.
yeah.
All right, bitches.
But they treat you differently. They treat you differently in Hell Week because nothing matters. Like you're literally trying to survive. So like you don't care if someone's an officer, you don't care if someone's higher ranked than you. You just kind of like I've seen guys curse at the instructors and they got kicked out of training.
Because they curse their instructors.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I've seen, hazing happen during Hell Week.
Oh
Hazing-
my god! Like
hazing's-
within your.
Oh no!
team, or-
Instructors hazing the students.
Oh okay.
Hazing is actually allowed during Hell Week.
What?
So like
Because like to
safety, right? So you wanna like slap kids so that they're awake and
oh right
you wanna keep them kind of alert.
right
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that they don't hurt themselves. So hazing, like a moderate amount of hazing. Yeah. So, yeah, that's allowed So I've seen guys that curse at the instructors and then they kind of get hazed.
shoot.
And, yeah.
Can't let that get the best of you, man.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta keep your cool, even when things are tough. So that's what they're trying to test.
Right, that's the
Right.
point of how we grow.
Right. So if you break and you start cussing at people
Yeah.
when you're not supposed to,
Yeah.
then it's game over.
You know, like American, like for example, you told me that in the Marines in America, like they actually like haze each other.
Yeah, all military
like
branches
all-
do. Yeah.
Is that like all military branches? They haze like newcomers, like new people, right? New
New people,
recruits.
but I think there are other reasons too. Just depends on like
The
how
person,
you fucked
right?
up. Like if you're a snitch, like, you gonna get a stitch.
So you had that too? Like, is that like a Korean thing too, where they haze everybody?
Yeah. It's a little different though. I think
Oh,
hazing
man.
culture in the States and hazing culture in Korea is very different.
Okay.
So, like, I'll give you one instance. Like, it's a little different now. It's gotten a lot better, but they'll literally bring kids to, like, the garage area, turn the lights off, and beat the crap out of them.
Like in Korea?
Oh
Yeah.
my
For
god.
like, who's beating up who? Like the instructors or beating?
No,
up
no,
kids?
no. Like the senior guys, to the newcomers or subordinates.
For absolutely no reason.
Oh no.
Oh.
There's always a reason.
Oh,
There's
okay.
always a reason. So.
Did you ever get beat up too?
No, never.
Whoa.
Never.
Whoa.
No.
During training, a
You're
little
lucky.
bit. During training, a little bit, but not after training. Never. I think it was because I was a little older than everyone else in my class, and like I wasn't a dumb shecky. Pretty much, yeah. I think that's why
right.
I wasn't hazed.
So they had a lot of respect for you then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Especially because I came from the States
Mhm.
and like I didn't need to
America, baby.
choose the hard way, but then I chose it anyway, and I chose like the 4-year route instead of the regular 2-year mandatory route.
Oh, I see.
So they knew like I wasn't.
You weren't fucking around.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. Like I wasn't
Sorry
just.
for putting words in your
No.
tainting your image.
It's yeah. That's pretty much it though.
Yeah.
So.
So the thing about you, what you kind of briefly told me is that like with the whole SEALs team, right?
Mhm.
They're very, in the end, it doesn't matter how athletic you are, because some people are just naturally really gifted, right?
Right.
At swimming or running or whatever, they're just athletically very like gifted.
Right.
But in the end, it doesn't matter. You can be like a terrible swimmer, or you can be like the most unathletic person. In the end, it's like the hardworking people that makes it.
Pretty much. Because I've seen gifted guys quit training.
Like Olympians, you said, right? Like these guys are like Olympic
Yeah, pretty much.
swimmers
Yeah.
who like quit.
Right. Water polo.
Damn.
Like, these guys, like they know what it takes.
That's just the physical aspect.
Right,
But you're
yeah.
like, you
That's
have to take into
crazy.
account for like the smarts too, like
Yeah.
how you handle shit. So yeah.
So you got to be quick on your feet. You got to be very detail oriented. It's
Mhm.
not just the physical aspect of it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, some of these guys they just can't take it. They're just so used to just performing well, and
Right.
once they're not given that like sense of like accomplishment every day, like where
Mhm.
like you kind of see it on your scoreboard. There's no
Right.
scoreboard during training. You know?
Yeah.
So like once you don't have that feedback,
Mhm.
then they don't know what they're doing.
Mhm.
They don't know what they're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
So they just kind of give up because they've had glory through sports.
Right.
So why do I need to find glory in anything else?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
So
And a lot of these guys, like military guys, they're like really good like problem fixers. Like
Yeah.
you gotta like know how to fix the problem. Like I think one of the things I read in that book was like how they like manage whatever the problem. Like that was really like eye opening. Like I wasn't really like thinking about that, but that's so true because that's like matter of life and death if it comes down to it, right?
So it's like creativity and like intelligence that.
Yeah, creativity, man. Because like you gotta like if there's always there should always be like option B, C, D, whatever. Like you gotta like predict like what might happen.
Right.
You know?
I gotta read this book.
Yeah.
So seals are very, very creative. They think outside the box.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, because like what we're tasked with, if there's no creativity involved, if there's no like if you don't think in a very fluid way, it just kind of goes against you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're too rigid, if you follow too structured too much,
Mm-hmm.
then honestly, like you won't be able to survive in the battlefield. Not that I've actually been in combat, but that's what we're taught, and that's what a lot of the U.S. Navy SEAL guys that we train with. That's what they always say. That's what they. You know how Koreans are. They're so caught up in structure and like putting themselves in like a certain frame, and they can't like think outside the box.
Right.
It plagues the Korean SEAL teams too. And
interesting.
And that's what like a lot of these senior guys they see that and they want to solve that in like a certain way, but it just kind of it doesn't work out very well, because we're not actively looking for actual combat, because we do have deployments, but we don't have deployments in like very undenied denied areas, meaning like dangerous places.
Right.
So we do have actual combat experience, but it's not as extensive as the U.S. Navy SEALs, or even like just the Marines.
So Korean SEALs, they don't focus a lot on the combat experience?
Well, we just don't have that sort of experience. We don't have that pool of information to draw from. So we have to draw from the experience of U.S. Navy SEALs.
Right.
And like the stuff we learn, it's top notch, because a lot of it is coming from U.S. Navy SEAls. And we have our own style as well, but it's very similar because we get a lot of our information from them. So
how what's the main difference between like the U.S. Navy SEALs and Korean SEALs, you think? Like how let's say like tactically, right? If you're in a enemy territory and you're trying to complete a mission, like can you distinguish between Korean SEALs and U.S. SEAls? How they do things?
Well, starting from like what we wear, what kind of gear we use, it's very different, because obviously we have a different budget.
Right, that's true.
And budget drives everything. So there's certain types of equipment that U.S. Navy SEAls use that we can't afford.
Right.
So, and that kind of hinders us from performing better than them.
Okay.
But not only that, culturally, it's very different. So we're more of a apprenticeship. Yeah. For them, it's like a brotherhood. So I felt that when I was translating for our SEAL team guys for you when we were training, doing joint training with U.S. Navy SEAls. These guys, like, they're all just kind of hanging around, and they all have like hands in their pockets and they're just kind of chilling.
U.S. SEAls?
Yeah. But for us, it's like, and we're very rigid, and it's like, something was just some guy, and you gotta like salute to every senior guy that you see.
That's so Korean.
Yeah, it's very Korean. So I remember a U.S. Navy SEAL guy, a U.S. SEAL telling me, it's like, if you guys didn't salute to your senior guys, like the amount that you guys salute to your senior guys, if you kind of take that away, I think you would each respectively gain 2 hours in a day. Each person would gain 2 hours. Seriously, like I don't disagree. It's so like it's such a unnecessary formality, and it creates a wall between a lot of guys.
And it could probably be exhausting.
Yeah, it really is exhausting.
Because you gotta like look out for that, like this person's coming, right?
Yeah,
so you're constantly like on your feet.
You're never at ease. Right. And you're always on edge.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. And yeah, and yeah, exactly. 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 And yeah, exac especially if you're a new guy, and
Damn.
and it's a lot of stress. Like you're
Yeah,
literally
that,
drained, not from like the physical work, but you're always trying to look out for senior guys. Like because if you don't salute, they give you crap.
Really? On the spot?
Yeah.
Like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah. So like, they'll like do like a roll call of like the same class guys. So like the whole Korean culture is very based on like class and like
Yeah.
like we number our classes and it's very difficult to be friends with anyone under you or
I see.
that are more senior than
Yeah, yeah.
you can't be friends.
Right.
They're always 선배 or 후배. So you're, they kind of group you in these classes. Your graduating class number, and if one person does something wrong in that class, they'll do like a roll call of everyone. And then, long time ago, they used to hate them.
Jeez.
Oh
So they'll call them up at like 11 p.m. and
Beat the living crap out of
yeah,
them.
yeah. So they used to like beat them with
Yeah.
bats and stuff. But
Was there alcohol involved in like your hazings?
yeah,
Like, oh yeah.
yeah.
So you'd have to like
Soju.
chug a bottle or something. Or...
Oh well, for me no,
Oh okay.
but
Not you. Wow,
like,
look at you.
I don't have.
See, like respect the
Yeah.
shit out of these.
I didn't have a problem with like the whole drinking culture in the SEAL teams, and a lot of these guys they want to stay fit. So nowadays it's a little different where they don't drink as much. But they're whales, man. They drink a lot.
Hell, they're like a macho. They're like the macho Korean dudes.
Yeah, they
like,
drink a lot.
Basically, like Korean jocks.
Yeah. So like they'll drink, like no joke, they'll drink like 4 or 5 bottles of soju, and then next day they'll like run 5 kilometers faster than me. Like I don't drink,
Mhm.
and I can't run faster than them.
It's just Korean, man.
Wow.
It's crazy, like the things they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was never like the fittest guy in a SEAL team, and I'll never presume to be one of the fittest guys or like the most talented guy. But man, some of the things these guys do, like it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And you're asking the difference between U.S. Navy SEAL guys and Korean SEAL guys?
Yeah.
Like body type wise, U.S. Navy SEALs they're more bulky, obviously.
Yeah.
They power lift and they're pretty huge. Korean SEAls they're kind of small. So I would equate to like Korean SEAls being more ninjas and
That's
Efficient.
awesome.
yeah.
Because at
Fast.
times of war, it's probably better to carry less weight.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more
means-
effective, right?
If anything, having more fat would be great, right? Because like your body could.
It really depends on the mission. So
Oh, right.
mission drives everything.
Oh,
So depending on the mission, like if you're out for like a week or two, because that's a long time. If you're out for like a two week mission, you won't be able to carry all the gear. You're gonna need resupply,
Right.
in whichever way they provide it. And yeah, so like you need to be a grunt. You need to be able to hold all your gear, all your weapons, all your like the comm system. So your radio and your food and your other gear. Like if you weigh all that, it's pretty.
it's gonna be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Significant amount.
Yeah.
I guess your body type, you just have to like carry your own weight pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't, and if it's like you're a little too big,
Right.
and you're kind of having trouble carrying your own weight,
Right.
then imagine having like what you were just saying, like all that gear
Yeah. And all that stuff.
on a mission. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that wouldn't make sense.
yeah, that kind of drains you pretty quick. So you can't complete the mission.
Yeah.
The mission's pretty much
But
compromised.
That's also because Koreans. You said that Korean SEALs they focus so much on running.
Right. So we have like a.
It's almost like unreasonable.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, we have an annual fitness test, and a huge part of it is running. So not just running, but running fast. But in order to run fast, I'm sure you guys know, if you're lighter, you're
Yeah.
more. Yeah, it's a little easier, and if you're running when you're like a grunt guy and you power lift, running's kind of difficult because you're holding a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, I don't know how fast it is in miles, but you're running. So 5K is about like 3 miles.
3 miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around 3 miles. So you're running full on sprint for 3 miles. So like full on sprint.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How do you sprint for even a mile?
So
They're sprinting without stopping.
right. So like
So I guess like maybe like 80%.
80%, and at the end, like the last stretch, it's 100%.
Holy,
That's fucking insane.
Right.
that's insane. I can't even.
Yeah. And I'm not a huge runner, and like I told you before,
Yeah.
like my Achilles tendon is pretty weak from like my bone spurs.
Yeah.
I'm not a fast runner, but man, like, man, these guys, like, they're so focused on running. These guys are like real quick, amazingly quick. They're running full speed. Like we have a couple guys in our SEAL teams that don't like running, and we like powerlifting.
Yeah.
So like these guys are big, and we're like, oh, let these guys go, man. Like, let's just run for the back. And like these guys are
meatheads.
running like way faster than us, and we see them like coming back and like running full on speed, and like their eyes are like about to pop out because like they're like hyperventilating so much. But obviously you want to get good scores on these tests because that goes into your you know, when you're moving up the ranks.
Yeah.
And forgive me, like if anyone's like in the military and watching this, like they won't be able to, they would probably think I wasn't in the military because I won't be able to speak it in like a US.
You can't translate it like.
Right, because I learned it in Korean.
Right.
It's a little different.
Yeah, so fuck off.
But yeah, so like in order to move up in the ranks, like these scores they all kind of pile on. So if you have like a bad score on your run, then that affects you, like, you know, moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
And that essentially means you get paid less for Koreans because we're not at war technically. Well, technically we're at war, but we're not actually fighting. So yeah, so it's a little more of like a actual job rather than like being in the military to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about like swimming? Like, are you a good swimmer?
I'm an okay swimmer.
Oh, really?
I'm an okay swimmer. I feel like
to his standards, but like to someone like me.
So like by
Navy SEAL standards.
Steel standards, I'm like okay. So like we have pairs. So like if you want to talk in terms of like our SEAL candidates, where like we're going through SEAL training, like I'm up there. But then if we talk about like all the guys that graduated and have kind of honed in their skills as a swimmer, then I'm like way down the middle. Because these guys are extremely fast.
Wow.
So I'm an okay swimmer, and like I'm more of a long distance swimmer than like a fast swimmer.
Right.
So I can swim for long distances, but I can't swim extremely fast.
Right.
But yeah, swimming kind of came naturally for me, which was good because I wasn't a runner.
Did you have a swimming pool in the back, like in New Jersey, or?
No, I learned swimming when I was in elementary school. So I was in like the swim team.
Yeah.
So,
I see.
yeah, so that helped a lot. So I didn't have any fear of water. Because some guys, like, they develop a fear of water, especially open water.
Me, yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, really?
I talked about this on the pod.
Oh, really?
But
Like a cat.
Yeah, so some guys drop out because of fear of water.
Wow.
The fear is very it's very like it's a certain type of feeling, I think. Because it's like you're in the open water and you're helpless.
Yeah.
You can't grab anything. It's
Right.
just like an open space
Right.
that is infinity almost.
Right.
That's why it's
Especially
very
in
like
the ocean.
it's very frightening for me.
Yeah.
Someone like me.
You just gotta get over that fear.
Yeah.
It's like for me, like I had a pool on the back, so like I would always go swimming. So like I would always like test my limits and stuff. So there was like a couple times where like, you know, I'm like, I know I'm not gonna make it, and I'm just like going up, and so I would swallow in water, but I actually come like my head actually goes above the water, and I'll cough out the water.
Oh shoot.
So I actually didn't make it, but I did.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
still here.
I'm
so.
still here.
That's actually a technique. that
Oh,
we use.
really?
Jesus Christ.
Look at
So
you! I
I
actually did that. I was like in middle school.
So when we have like a, so even like the 50-meter underwater swim, and before that we have like a underwater breathing test we do. So you need to do a minimum of, I forgot, 90 seconds. It's not that long. So that kind of prepares you for the 50-meter underwater swim. So you're just kind of holding your breath for 90 seconds. It's not that much. And like when you feel that like diaphragm movement when you're holding your breath, that's not you needing oxygen. It's you needing you wanting to let out the CO2 that's building up in your lungs.
That's
so it's
very
not
interesting.
Yeah, it's not you like needing the oxygen, because you still have oxygen in your lungs.
Yeah.
So you don't need to breathe.
Oh.
So you need to like kind of drill that into your mind and kind of
just train your
yeah.
kind of like.
So kind of be okay with like your diaphragm moving, like that uncomfortable feeling of holding your breath.
Yeah.
And so there's a technique that we use, which is we sip a little bit of water, and it tricks your brain into thinking that you kind of took a breath. So
really?
Yeah. So it kind of, you knowingly drink the water, knowing that it's not oxygen.
You actually drink it?
Yeah. So like you kind of, and like your brain kind of subconsciously thinks that you
I'm trying to
took
play
a
in my
breath.
mind right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So
wait. So you're breathing in air, and then you take a sip of water.
no.
Oh.
You breathe in air and you go underwater. You're holding your breath.
Yeah.
And you feel your diaphragm move, and once you feel like you can't. Yeah, you can't hold it in anymore.
Like what I did in the pool.
Yeah, so you take a sip of water, and then you kind of feel okay.
You actually swallow the water?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That actually helps you a lot.
yeah, that helps you. So those are like some of the techniques you can use when you're like an amateur. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I've done that before.
I see how that would work.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Your mind works in a weird way.
So how do you do the 50-meter thing? Like, what's the breathing tactic you use? Like, you know,
You just hold your breath, pretty much, and you just kind of, because you need to be relaxed. If you exert too much energy, then you're using up too much oxygen. So the more oxygen you use, the more CO2 buildup there is in your lungs. So you want to let all that out and take a deep breath.
And you're like pretty much swimming like as efficiently as possible too, right?
That's really
like
important.
unnecessary strokes, like too many strokes or something.
Right, pretty much, yeah. So there's different techniques of doing it, but you just kind of have to find like the right way for you, because not all strokes are the same for everyone.
Right.
So yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's pretty
Cool.
How has it helped you? Like, how do you think that your SEAL experience will? What's the biggest thing that you would take from, you know, now that you're out and like you're gonna apply it to something, you know, business or life, whatever you're doing?
For me, like I didn't have like a normal SEAL career. So a normal SEAL career would be you graduate SEAL training, you go into the teams, and then oftentimes you get deployed to different areas. So we get deployed into the Middle East, and there's a part of Somalia that we get deployed to. And you do that, and there's different things that we do in our each and respective SEAL teams.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to go in right away because they wanted me to translate
Right.
and interpret.
Right.
And that allowed me to train with U.S. Navy SEALs, or not train, but interpret for
Right.
U.S.
Right.
Navy
Right.
SEAls.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was learning very interesting stuff from U.S. Navy SEAL guys, but then stuff happened and I wasn't able to like go into the teams again, which is when I kind of decided not to stay in the military. So the experience I have is mostly like the SEAL training that we get when we first kind of like our first step into our SEAL career.
Yeah.
Which is like the BUDS training. It's called BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. That's what it's called in the States, so we kind of call it the same thing in Korea. And so drawing from that experience, I know what like I'm capable of as a human being. So I know that like even though I feel like I can do this much, I know my body can take me to like a higher place. So like I feel like we put so many limits on ourselves in different aspects, and I feel like those limits are only really in the mind.
Damn.
Like I know it might sound cuckoo, but like there's been moments where like I felt like I couldn't do something, but then when I just kind of sucked it up and did it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
And that just like made me change my thinking on everything, because like I tell your sister this all the time. I had a 1.8 GPA in high school. I didn't go to school.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. I hated school.
Yeah.
I hated like this like system that I was a part of. I loved learning, but I just hated school, and I wasn't motivated. And I was a huge artist. Like I loved drawing. I loved like making videos, and I love photography, and like that was kind of my way of like understanding the world. And I had no discipline, and I always felt like I would start something strong but not end it very well. So I wouldn't finish things, and that was like a huge burden on me. That's why I felt like I needed to go into the military, and that kind of helped me to break away from that pattern that I've created throughout my teenage years.
Yeah.
And I knew like after graduating SEAL training, I knew like that I was capable of greater things more greater things than I've ever imagined of doing. So it's great because like I don't put limits on myself anymore.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got like a couple minutes, but I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
You don't have to answer it. But, like, so you being like a Christian, so like, let's say like shit goes down with North Korea and you gotta, you get deployed, then like, how do you justify like, cause you probably have to like
Murder them?
shoot someone, right? Or like fight them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like, as a Christian, like, what do you tell yourself? You don't have to answer it.
No, I can answer
If you don't know, then you can just say you don't know.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people who don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
really.
Sure.
Right. I don't justify it. I don't think I'm doing something. I don't think I'm not doing something right. Even if I'm trying to protect someone, I don't feel like I'm doing something right. And I know I'm killing in itself. If you look at like what you're doing, because I've thought about this too, because our most recent combat operations was in Somalia, where these pirates hijacked
Shit goes down there, right?
a Korean vessel.
Yeah.
And we had to rescue them, and we killed pirates. And like I had to think to myself, like if I was in their situation, like would I be able to pull the trigger? But once I start thinking about the training, it's just kind of innate, like, well, not innate, like it's kind of instilled in you.
Yeah.
So it's like muscle memory. Like you're pulling the trigger not because you're thinking about like protecting someone, but well, you are, because you're protecting your teammates, and that's how like
at the moment it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just a reflex.
Yeah.
Because you're trained to
Yeah.
specifically do that.
Yeah. So like that's kind of how it works. But if I look at it from like a humanitarian perspective, like I know what I'm doing is not right, but it's the job that I've chosen, and if I make it, you know, if I seek God for repentance, then that's what it's gonna be about. Like I don't think I'm doing something right, but you know, if I'm doing it because I feel like it's protecting someone, and I make it right with God, then that's it. Like then you know, I gotta do my job. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a great answer, man.
Mm.
Well, yo, it's been great having you on our show,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, man.
I've heard a lot of things.
Oh,
Oh, we're gonna do a normal.
Dude, so you should talk about your are you allowed to talk about it?
Oh, do you
the
wanna talk
training
about it?
certificate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's John's actually gonna be well, you're training to be a certified teacher in for like normal civilians, not just for SEALs, but
Right.
for people in everyday life. Anybody can join your school, right? Basically, your class.
Well, it's like a academy.
Yeah,
and,
academy
so it's like one of my SEAL Sambas, like he runs an academy, and it's called MUSAT, like MUSAT, and it stands for Multi-UDT SEAL Assault Training, Assault Tactics,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
it's like so like there's different things, like you do rifle work, and then handgun work, and then knife drills, and hand-to-hand combat. So you learn self-defense, survival tactics, and just a variety of stuff.
So
Yeah.
anyone could join.
Any civilian can join, but it's not easy. There's like an intro course, and then there's like a beginner's course, and a mid-range course, and then like a high-level course.
The high level course isn't that with like 24 hours of no sleep and training, no eating. It's like literally, it's like
Beginner's course is actually like
that's
That's the beginner's
course.
so you're
Welcome.
you're that SEAL Samba's philosophy is he doesn't want just like anyone that pays money to be able to graduate.
He's like legit.
Yeah, he wants people that are actually motivated to graduate and yeah.
Sonbe stands for somebody who is of a higher rank
Yeah,
or age,
Yeah.
and Hube means somebody who's of a lower rank or like younger than you.
Right.
So that's
Smart.
how you.
Look at me.
A
Yeah,
senior
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do they find you? Like, how do they find that the academy and stuff? Like, can
Well,
you
I-
get more information about it?
Um,
Musat.
Musa, you can search it on Facebook,
Yeah.
and if you put it on YouTube, you'll see videos of it.
Is it all in Korean? Is there like English program too?
It's in Korean, but I'm tasked to translate some of the stuff. So
So for those of you who want to join
Yeah.
the Musat Academy,
I've
That'd be
heard
pretty fun.
that'll be pretty.
I've heard U.S.
badass.
military guys that went through the program too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how long is the beginner? Like.
Like the intro course is 6 hours long, and then that opens you up to different courses, and the beginner's course is like 48-hour training program, and I think you split it between a couple days, like a couple weekends,
Oh. Okay.
and then like the final course is like what's called FTX, field training exercise, where you do 24 hours of non-stop training without sleep, without eating, just water. You do like neck drills and different things. So.
Cool, man. All right. Well,
Same, man.
let's wrap it up. So yeah, you can find us at STBeef00 on iTunes, YouTube, and Google Play Music. And do you want to share your Instagram or
You
something?
want to share
or-
anything you want to?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Like any video production stuff that you want people
no.
to look at? No. No, you're good.
Don't look at his cheeks. All right. So we'll see you guys.
All right, man. Later.
All right. Bye.